Hey guys, welcome back to my sick Bloons TD 6 videos, pun intended. Today we're going to look at an advanced challenge that I think is pretty worthy of advanced challenge, and that's why we're going to play it, or going to commentate over it today. Now normally I like to live commentate these things, but since I'm still a little bit not 100% yet, just going to take it over to post-com here, because I'm pretty sure you guys don't want to see me coughing and wheezing at some of the most important / dire rounds of the challenge. I mean, unless you're into some weird types of ASMR, but let's talk about the challenge. So we basically go one of every tower on the right side. Well, actually not one of every tower. You got 2 dart monkeys, 3 farms, and 2 villages. And from what I heard, I think people said that this challenge was decently hard, so I went ahead and started farming right off the bat. Because I figured, why the hell not? If farms are enabled, I assume we're gonna need every little bit of money we can, especially since it's a bubble mode, plus 20% price on everything. And we're actually not left with a lot to work with. Like, we gotta go 100 rounds, guys, with no Comanche, no Permaspike, no Alchemist. So even that in itself is already pretty damn challenging. I mean, it's not Chimps mode, but it's still 100 rounds. You can't take any challenge that goes to 100 lightly at all. So I figured while playing this, well, we're probably gonna need every single tower that we can get up to tier 5, up to the max. Like, we're talking both tier 5 dart monkeys, tier 5 glue, tier 5 boomer, tier 5 mortar, and a tier 5 sniper, whatever the hell we're gonna do with it, or whatever use a sniper's gonna bring. I mean, when's the last time you used a sniper for late game? Oh yeah, did I mention it's also only 1 life and no knowledge, so as much as I wanted to greed it in the early game here, I couldn't go too ham on farms, cause, well, as you saw, I almost died there a few times. Had to drop a panic boomerang at the very back there. Probably not the best spot for the boomer, but surprisingly I don't sell it for the rest of the game, because I'm going to upgrade it to a tower you're going to see later, and that spot is actually pretty decent, and you'll see why in a bit. But take a guess, what kind of boomerang am I going to turn into? A Mob Domination? A Glaive Lord? A Permacharge? So yeah, surprisingly Quincy does a decent amount of work for the early game, so I actually didn't need too much defense. Just a crossbow and Quincy, and that plain old boomer, and a sniper is enough to go up to like 30, 35. The only issue though is once mobs come, you're gonna need more than just Quincy's ability and a bio boomer to beat that round. And I actually went a little bit too ham at farms, I think. I got 3 2-2-0 farms, and we actually were able to pop the mob lair, but we just didn't have quite enough to take down every single Bloon inside. And so restarts, we goofed a little bit. So you know what I'm gonna do instead? We're actually 1k short of a turbocharge, so I gotta sell that village just to afford that turbocharge. And that's all we really need to beat the mob insides. So okay, not the biggest loss in the world. We can just get the village back, which we do. And now that we got a backup ability to use, we just go straight back to farming. I think banks are still more efficient in this game even after the nerf. In case you didn't know, the bank got yet another nerf. I think that's like 4 nerfs in a row. Now only holds up to $7,000 max instead of $10,000. As for why it's a nerf, well, it means you gotta collect the bank earlier. So while you get the money earlier, well, technically, you could still cash out at the same time in the previous update at 7k, but if you calculate it on a per round basis, you do end up getting less per round if you cash out 7k versus 100k. Sorry, 10k. That's because like the interest from the bank and all that. The more money you have in the bank, the more money you get at the end of each round. It's just how Mafia works. So sadly, that just means less money to work with late game, but I think I can live with it. It's kinda sad though, even after all the nerfs from the bank and the buffs from the other tiers, rather the top tier farm, people still go for the bank, and that's probably because, well, the top path is still not efficient enough. I don't know about the third path though, the marketplace. I don't really use farms anymore. The only reason I used it for this challenge, honestly, was because people said it was hard. Generally for these challenges, I like to look up on like Reddit, just to see what people have to say on this challenge before I get into it. If people say it's easy, well, I tend to ignore it, skip the AC for that day, but if people say it's challenging, I take a look at it, quickly analyze if it is, and if it is, then, well, we'll jump right into it. And here we are, just playing it safe here. I pretty much plan to upgrade all the farms to banks, and that's it. Like, no IMF loan, obviously, no 5th tier bank. It's only 100 rounds, we don't need $10,000 a round or $10,000 per ability usage. A little bit overkill for that one, but yeah, I don't know exactly how much extra money I profit from these banks by the end of this. Probably a couple tens of thousands for each bank. So yeah, even though it's nerfed, banks are still banks. They still net you money in the long haul. But yeah, now we're just trying to save up for, well, some actual defense, because surprisingly, I am staying alive quite well with only a turbocharge, a Bernie stuff mortar, and that sniper. You see, right now what I'm trying to save up for is that sweet permacharge. So to anybody who guessed permacharge, good job. It should have been obvious once it got a bio boomer. But if you want to ask why permacharge? Well, if we just take a look at our tier 5 options late game, we gotta find a way to deal with DDTs and ZMGs, well, namely DDTs, because I don't see any tier 5 on this list aside from the permacharge that can easily handle DDTs, aside from the 005 glue, but I don't know if I want to spend 40k on that guy, because I kind of like my Bloon solver, you know? Anyways, we just about afforded that permacharge before round 63. I actually sold my farm to buy it, because I was actually a little bit short when trying to upgrade it, and I was about to die. I didn't want to restart. So you know what, just sacrifice the farm money. It's okay. We can just get it back later, although I never get it back later because I figured we were fine with only 2 farms. Anyways, now that we got a tier 5 perma, what's next on the agenda? Well, as you see, I got a 402 glue gunner. And yeah, pretty obvious next choice, and that's going to be the Bloon solver. Now, it's kind of hard pressed to choosing the glue storm or the Bloon solver, but I think the Bloon solver works a little bit better in this scenario, you know? You get the permacharge to take care of the ZMGs, the BFBs, the DTs, the Moabs, and then you just get the Bloon solver to deal with all the insides. Because the thing that the 502 glue gunner excels at is super cerams. It's one of the only towers of the game that can deal with, I wouldn't say infinite super cerams, but quite a lot of them. It actually does better versus round 80 plus balloons than pre-round 80. One of the few towers that does that because, well, the Bloon solver corrosive glue is like insane amount of DPS. Like, the super ceram health doesn't even have a chance against the solver glue, because that acid is crazy. Anyways, I'm sure there's many other ways to beat this challenge. This is just my preferred way. Don't know if any of you guys played this challenge or beat this challenge, but if you did, feel free to let me know what you used, because I'm kind of curious to see if there's any other combinations of tier 5 towers out of this loadout that could actually beat all 100 rounds. Probably is, but back to this strategy. What is next on the agenda? Well, 520 village. You're allowed 2 of them, so we can get 1 for MIB, and 1 to 520 for the extra strong Bloon pump power. That kind of village excels at the strong Bloons, obviously. Takes off a decent 200 health per shot, which isn't a whole lot if you compare to the health of like a BAD or a ZMG, but might help for DDTs. Take some pressure off of that permacharge over there. But we need a MIB because, well, the permacharge cannot pop leads, and I wasn't sure if it could, so I just ran through round 90 first to see if it could pop DTs. Well, yeah, I quickly found out that wasn't the case, so quickly bought that mid-round, and what do you know, the DTs are now gone. So, lesson learned. I probably should remember this from that challenge I did a long time ago, the 1 boomer. Pretty sure I had to switch away from the permacharge there because it couldn't pop DTs, but hey, you can't remember everything in this game. There's a lot to know, so can understand why some people are not aware of what some upgrades do, because there's a lot of upgrades to know, a lot of interactions to know, even after playing this game for a long time. But anyways, we're going to fast forward a little bit. Now we got a Shattering Shells? No, not yet. We don't have a Shattering Shells yet, but we got a MIB now. I think next up is a Crossbow Master. You got 30k sitting in the bank, but we're actually really close to dying there. Really close to dying on 94, even though we're using the permacharge ability, finally. And yes, we do get the Crossbow Master up. I think I'd still leave it on first. I don't know what's better, first or last, or strong. Either way, crossbow is really, really good on straight lines, so I probably should place it like a juggernaut so it could get the massive line of crits, because that's pretty much what the crossbow is useful for only. I don't think its main crossbow shots really do very much late game. So all about the crits, man, all about the crits. And we can actually buy 2 of the crossbows, but I don't end up going for that, I don't. Reason being, well, I don't have enough money. Yeah, I should have gotten that 3rd bank, shouldn't you? Yeah. Well, too late for that. But instead of a Crossbow Master, we could at least go for the 2nd best option. And while there's only 1 option left on this list, no, not a Bloon Incineration. It costs more than a Crossbow Master itself. So I'm okay with leaving it at Shattering Shells, even though the Bloon Incineration would pretty much make this game a GG, but you can't change the past. But yeah, we're gonna go for that Elite Defender by selling all of our farms, yes. And is that gonna do anything? Well, find out on this round, round 98. Because things do get pretty tight here. Even activating the permacharge ability isn't quite enough. Like, it's really strong, but it doesn't last quite long enough. And when it runs out, it's only a normal permacharge, which is not that strong. all we gotta do is pop all the mobs into ceramics, because the Bloon Solver will deal with the rest. And if we take a look at the very end here, guess who comes to save the day? I think it was Elite Defender, although it might have been another tower, but it popped the mobs just in time for the Bloon Solver to take care of the last ceramics. But now for 99, we don't have Permacharge, we don't have the ability, it's really weak, and yeah, we gotta restart there. The ability was almost back on time, but not enough, so what do? Well, we do the only logical thing we can do. We gotta sell it. Yes. Sell for what, you ask? Well, we sell for another Permacharge, because that's gonna reset the cooldown back to 25%. I think before the round started it was like 30, 40%. So yes, the 5% does make a big difference, or 5 to 15%. Now I did have to sell my Shattering Shells that round, but it's not really a big deal. They can't even unfortify DTs anyway, so no use, but if we play the round now, we don't have the Permacharge just yet, but that's fine. We can use it a little bit earlier, but the DTs are still getting really far. Rapidly pressing settings, because look, those fortified ceramics are about to exit, even under the influence of the glue, so maybe the Shattering Shells would have been useful there, but we gotta pray that our Bloon Solver can actually take care of it fast enough, and thankfully it does. Like, that was a lot closer than I'd like it to be, I'll be honest. I don't know how much HP those fortified ceramics have, but if you look closely there, those ceramics almost snuck through the exit there. Even while slowed, and taking like 50 damage per second from the glue. But thank you, Bloon Solver, for being clutch. See what I mean when basically all ceramics die? Like, you need to get a Moab like 99% of the way across the map for the Bloon Solver to not work. But not today, and for the last round, hell, Bloon Solver comes in clutch again. The DTs from the inside almost kill us, but they pop just in time for the glue to take into effect. Hell, even the Crossbow Master helps us out with a crit, but I doubt we needed it. I also messed up my boomer targeting there. Had it on strong, so that should have been a lot easier than it looked. But yeah, we just take care of the last couple of ZMGs, and the rest is history. GG. 120 monkey money and a 300 farm, but as per usual ritual, we always take a look at our Insta at the end, and we got a heli pilot. So yeah, that's my solution for this challenge, folks. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more sick BTD6 videos, make sure to send over some of your germs to my PO box. Address is right here, and I'll see you guys in the next video.